Our speakers today will show you how to transform screens in the classic SAP GUI interface into simple role-based adaptive designs using the SAP Fiori experience without coding. Now, before I hand it over, I'd like to make you aware of the SAP Community, an external platform where you can connect to other members and follow the SAP TechEd and SAP Screen Personas tags to stay up to date. If you have any questions, please use the chat feature. An expert will reach out to help. That's all from me, so let's get started.
All right, thanks a lot, Jennifer. Welcome, everyone. My name is Peter Spielvogel, and for today's agenda, we'll do a very quick overview of Screen Personas, what it is, how it's used. In case you're not familiar with that, then we'll talk through the exercises that we have planned. We've got 2 standard, 2 bonus, and then give you some extra resources. So if you're not familiar with Screen Personas, it is a fast, easy, and very cost-effective way to transform your classic SAP GUI screens into the Fiori experience. Out of the box, we have Fiori designs, templates, floor plans, so you can take a classic screen and make it look like a Fiori design. And in fact, that's what the theme of today's exercise is, and that's what you will do in the next 2 hours here. It's very fast. Most of the actions are drag and drop. We say no coding, and you can record your keystrokes, but if you do know JavaScript, it will give you a leg up in transforming some of the screens. And if you are a pro coder, you can drop in some JavaScript code in the form of applets. We'll also show you how to do that today. And the nice thing about Screen Personas is that it's an add-on to your NetWeave, to your ABAP system. You can plug it into ECC. You can use it with S/4HANA. Either way, you can take any of those classic screens and make them much, much easier to use. So 2 examples of when you might use Screen Personas. On the left side of the screen here, you've got the classic type of SAP transaction, a search box on the left, and a set of results on the right. With Screen Personas, you can put the search and the results on a single screen, and instead of toggling back and forth every single time you want to change something, you can look at it here. And if you're familiar, this looks a lot like a Fiori list report. And then you click on one of these, it would take you to an object page. Another example of where most people use Screen Personas is these classic transactions. They've got many tabs, sometimes tabs within tabs, a lot of information you're not necessarily using on the screen. We'll see that today with a fairly complex search screen with a lot of boxes, and you can simplify it down. No tabs, just the fields you and your employees need to do their jobs. There are a number of ways that you can have the Fiori experience, some that SAP ships out of the box and some that you develop. So if you're using an app from the reference library, you can modify that or use SAP UI5 flexibility. If you've got the business logic in the form of a SAP GUI transaction, you can use Screen Personas to simplify that. Again, that's the theme of today. And there are also ways you can build your own apps, whether it's doing Fiori elements and Fiori tools or doing something freestyle or a native mobile app. There are many tutorials on that. That's outside the scope of this course. If you want information on that, just reach out to any one of us and we will put you in contact, send you a link to those tutorials. So for today, we've got our hands-on exercises in the Git. I'm imagining that link will be in the chat for you, or you already have it. And the user ID for the day will be assigned to you. We've been collecting your names as you go in, and then we'll display that, and then you'll see, find your name, and then let's log in from there. Today's hands-on exercise, there are 4 tasks in there. We only have 2 hours. So if you're not familiar with Screen Personas, that would be extremely ambitious to get them all done in that time. I am familiar with Screen Personas, and I struggle to get all 4 of them done within the time frame. So of the 4 tasks, first you're going to start with IW29 and improve the look and feel of that. Then you'll turn the object page, the display notification IW53 into what looks like a Fiori object page. Then you'll take the screen that you already built, the display notification screen, and turn that into a mobile app, something you can run on your phone by putting into a phone form factor. And finally, if there's time, you'll adjust the selection screen of that notification list to simplify it further. So if you're a beginner, you should plan on getting through exercises 1 and 2. Intermediate, you'll probably get through all 3. And if you're already quite familiar with the product and just wanted to get a refresher on what's new, then you might be able to get through all 4 of those. So I think we're not going to talk through this now, the different tasks, because we'll do that as we go. So let me just leave you with 3 things we want you to remember after this extended TechEd session. One is that Screen Personas simplifies both screens in S/4HANA as well as ECC, and those are the SAP GUI screens. Second, it's a low-cost, fast, easy, and low-risk way to build Fiori apps for existing scenarios. And finally, I hope you're as excited about Screen Personas as we are after this, but keep in mind, it's not a silver bullet. It's one of several ways that you can achieve the Fiori experience. So we'll make these slides available to you, and contact information is there. So let me turn it back over to Jennifer. Where is your slide there? Is that this one? Yes. And then I guess Chris will pick it up, or Tomas.
Yes, thanks, Peter. I can quickly show the GitHub page. That link is posted in the chat. So everyone should have access to our GitHub page where you see the workbook material and also resources to get help. So let's have a quick look at the GitHub page to start with. Let me share the screen. Please let me know once you see my screen.
We got it.
Okay, thanks, Peter. So this is the landing page of our GitHub repository. So to start with, the exercise content is compiled in a PDF document that is available here. So if you follow that link, you should be able to access that. Yeah, should be able to access. Yeah, and here we go, the workbook. The first step is to access the SAP system that we'll be using for this class. So Tamas, could you please paste the link to the system in the chat? So
sure,
to start with. And while Peter was introducing you to SAP Screen Personas, my colleague Artemi has provided user mapping. Artemis, are you ready to share the user mapping, or you need more time?
Hi, you can share the file.
I think it makes sense to paste the content in the chat. What do you think?
I can do that. If anyone from the users were missed out, sorry, I did it all by hand, feel free to write it and I'll assign you a user immediately, okay? If you don't see your name.
So what happens here?
We lost Chris. Okay, so you need this login, the user, you'll see that on page 1 of the documentation. So on the left column is the username, TechEd dash, and then a 2-digit number starting with 50. And that's find your name. To the left is your login, and you'll use that to log into the system. The password is welcome. You'll be asked to change that password when you log in. Please write it down somewhere where you are, because we won't have time to reset that during the session. And pretty much every TechEd, someone gets locked out. Chris, welcome back. We're
do
just talking about the
apologize.
login process.
Okay, very well. So let's get back where we left. Peter, do you see my screen now?
Yep.
Sorry about the technical issues. So first step, login to the SAP system. Next, what else we have here? How to get support. As I said, you can unmute yourself and ask questions directly. Other option is to go to Issues tab and type the question here. We will have a look at the questions even after the workshop. So the plan is to keep the system open for you at least for a week or longer if possible. So we will definitely have a look at any issues that you can paste here. What else? We have additional materials. We have recorded the whole workbook sessions in 3 videos, but keep in mind that the videos you would see here will not fully match the content we will provide today because we have updated the content, but not the videos itself. As well, we have a couple of intermediate steps ready in case you would like to skip exercise 1 and continue with exercise 2. You can pick up one of the options and to start with the next exercise. And of course,
we would caution you not to do that. The reason we have it is if you somehow get stuck and then the class is moving on to exercise 2 or 3 and they're additive, we don't want you to get left behind. So you can pick up the solution to one of those and then build on that. So you're not stuck in the class.
Exactly. Thanks, Peter. And of course, we have the final complete solution available for you to see. So simply click on that link and use the credentials that are assigned by Artemis to log into the system, and you should be able to follow the link and see the final result. So this is the final result. So this is the selection notification filter screen. So we click on execute. So what we see here is a nice SAP UI5 table loaded with all the notifications. It's fully responsive. It adapts to the screen, it resizes back. And if I click on any of those notifications, I'm taking to the transaction IW53, which is also personalized using SAP Screen Personas. And I can, of course, navigate back to my previous screen. That is the goal of the workshop today.
So Chris, you're telling me you can take 2 clunky SAP GUI transactions and turn them into a nice experience like this in less than 2 hours?
Yes, that is absolutely
I want to
correct.
see that.
So, dear participants, now we need 1 brave volunteer. The word belongs to the brave. Anyone who would like to share your screen, and we will help you guide through the exercise and show to the others how it's done. Any volunteers who would like to share the screen? No worries, we will help you. We will let exactly what needs to be done.
Some names we recognize from the practitioner forum, so we know you're at least somewhat familiar with.
You don't have to be familiar with SAP Screen Personas. You just need to be brave enough to share your screen, and we will help you to get through.
Oh, we have a volunteer.
Awesome. So
Amandeep.
I'm stopped sharing my screen. So who is going to be a volunteer?
It's Amandeep Singh.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah,
Amandeep, thank you.
Yeah,
Perfect. Thank you very much for being the brave and really appreciate it. So please share your screen and we will guide you through the setup process.
And then everyone else can follow along and see what Amandeep is doing. You can, of course, work at your own pace, but if you want to see step by step, this is a great way to do that.
Keep in mind that the system will be open for you. So there's also a possibility that you watch the exercise we are doing with Amandeep together, and then you can repeat it afterwards if you like, or you can go on your own pace. It's your decision. The system will be there for you. Okay, I see you have already created your username. Any problems with logging in into the TechEd system?
No.
Very well. So the first step, you see on the very top, we have the blue strip. that is the indication that the SAP Screen Personas is installed and running on this particular SAP system. I think it says for HANA 1909 system on premise. So there was a B button. So to start the exercise, we would like to simplify transaction IW29 list service notifications. So the first step is to type IW29 in the transaction OK code field and press enter to proceed further. Very well. So this is the initial selection of notifications screen. So our exercise will focus on service notifications. So next step, do you see the notification type input field under the notification? So the second one from the top, just notification time, the little one. And type in S star, Sierra star, just S. And start and click on execute button on the top. Very well. So this is the original table that is part of IW29 transaction, and the goal is to replace this table with the SAP UI5 applet that implements Fiori responsive table. To do that, we need to bring up the Personas UI. So we briefly discussed there's the blue strip on top. So we click on this P button in the middle to bring up the Personas flavor manager. And flavor is a customization of existing SAP GUI transaction. And that's what we want. We want to create a new one. So right click on the original screen tile, just right mouse click and choose create new flavor. So by doing so, we will create new modification or new version of IW29 transaction. And type it name, just TechEd demo flavor or type any name you prefer. That should do. Click on create. Very well. So that should start the flavor editor facility. Yeah, and now we are in flavor editor. All the semantic events are suppressed, and we can interact with the screen by selecting various controls, hiding fields that are not required, inserting new controls, doing tab merging, and all kinds of things we want. So we will start the simplification by hiding the transaction code field. So our end users will not require transaction code, so we select it and right mouse click and select hide. Or you can use either, works fine. So, and also we will not require the menu bar for our scenario. Do the same for menu bar. And you can select multiple controls by holding down the control key, or you can drag selection rectangle around the controls you want to select using the shift key. So let's hide also the table that is not needed.
Sorry, which table?
So select the large table you see, yeah, click on it.
Okay.
So you see on the top right corner a table column selected. We want select whole table. To select whole table, just click on escape key. So pressing the escape key will select the first direct parent control. So now you see that the GUI grid view control is selected. Very well, and simply hide it the same way how did you do for a menu bar. So that only hides only one column. Simply click on undo button on the menu bar.
Sorry, which button?
So yeah, so on the top left corner there's an undo button to cancel customization. Yeah,
okay.
And now click on GUI table control. So click on it.
This one?
No, go to the GUI grid view control down below. Yes, and select yes. And now click on hide from the right context menu or from the toolbar itself. That should hide the GUI grid view control table from this. Click on escape. So click on escape key. No, that is GUI grid view. Perfect. Now simply click on hide from the toolbar. Okay, step completed. We have hidden the table control. So next step is to insert SAP UI5 applet that is already deployed on the SAP system, and to insert the SAP UI5 applet, we go to Templates tab. So you see the Home, Insert Tables in the ribbon, and we want Templates.
Template?
Yes. And you see SAP UI5 applet option. Perfect. And yeah, expand the Personas test demos. And by the way, this is your backend package that contains BSP application for each SAP UI5 applet. Then click on IW21 table, click on Done. Yeah, click on Done. So the applet is being loaded, and you can move the applet around, resize to your liking, and it acts just like any other control on the screen. But in our case, we would like the applet to take all the available real estate. So we want to make it to stick to the container. To do it, double click on the applet itself to bring up the dialog once again. And check the stretch to container size option. That should fill the applet to the whole real estate. Click on Done. Perfect. At this point, we have inserted our applet, and now we need to create a load script that is executed every time the applet is loaded, because we need to bind the IW29 runtime with the applet itself. And to do that, while the applet is still selected, right mouse click and just click on right mouse click and choose Events, the second option from bottom. Events. Not advanced. So close advanced property and choose events. Perfect. So we need to create new script that is going to be executed every time the applet is loaded. We don't have it. So select event, go to, so, okay. Click on this right side on applet load event first, as a first step on the other side of the pile. Yeah, and you see the plus button on the top. Click on plus. And we need to put a name for our script. Let me check what is the name for the script from our exercise, and it's set applet data. Set applet data, or set, not set from S. Okay, set, yeah. Perfect. Done. Click on Done. I think you can close script assignments dialog from here. Yes, and you can save the flavor. So we have inserted the SAP UI5 applet. We have created a new blank script, and we can exit the flavor editor. Click on this exit button to exit the flavor editor. Tamas, did you paste the script in GitHub page, or did you upload it? Or
yes, I did. So on the GitHub page at the top part.
Tamas, could you please send the link to this first script for IW29 in the chat?
Okay, I'll do that.
And while Tamas is looking for a link to script, let's open the scripting engine. So to do it, don't worry, we will guide you through. So click on Personas P button once again, and Personas provides different means of personalizing classic SAP GUI screens. So we saw that you can create new flavor or new version of the screen by hiding, rearranging controls and doing other things. And you can also automate user input or provide additional functionality through the means of so-called scripting engine. So that's what we want to do. So we click on scripts. And we should be able to see all the scripts associated with this flavor. And there should be at least one that we previously created while in Flavor Editor. Yeah, and you see set applet data script is there created for you. So that's the script. You click on it. So we don't need this applet. You can safely delete the applet. That is not needed. And now let's have a look at the chat and see what Tamas has shared with us.
Nothing, because I'm having some speed and performance issue here, so I cannot open the GitHub page right now.
No worries.
I'm sorry about that.
No worries. Then we simply improvise. Can you open the PDF document and scroll to the page number 5? The script source is in the PDF document, of course, as well. It is a little inconvenient to copy paste from the PDF, but we can do. So scroll up and you see the exercises. The exercise content is available here. Click on this first link.
The first link?
Yes.
Okay, I think that is.
The source code. Yeah, you clicked on the right link. I was wrong. That's what Tamas meant. So thank you very much for noticing. Yes, click on that. That is what we need. So this is, oh no, this is the web.
No, I pasted the script in the meantime. I was able to open the document file. Or the,
okay, so then go to the chat and let's see what is in the chat.
Window. I'm just looking for the option.
Yeah, click on the chat window.
I don't see a chat window. Okay.
In the Zoom.
Yeah, the last link that should provide easy to copy source code for our script number one. I just share your screen. Yeah, the exercise 1 script.txt.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on.
And everyone else, if you have any questions, so feel free to unmute and ask. I would like to have this as an interactive discussion. Okay, so that's the script source, and let's copy in Personas scripting editor as soon as you have it, and simply paste it. Mm-hmm. Very well. So we have some tasks to do. If you scroll down somewhere little, in line number 30, we need to provide the actual applet ID, the control ID. And to do it, on your right side, you see the inspector tab. And then there's a rectangle with mouse pointer, which is our object inspector. Click on the object inspector and hover the applet. And once the applet is hovered, click on it. And the applet control on the screen. Yes. And click on it. Yeah, that is the applet being selected. And we need to copy the applet ID, this bluish strings that starts with W and D0, the very first line.
This one? Oh, blue one, sorry.
Yeah, you can copy that. And since this is a string literal, we need to put it in quotes. So delete the placeholder, put it in quotes and paste the script ID. Mm-hmm. So very well. You can save your changes. Mm-hmm. And you can close the scripting editor. And by the way, Christina, if I miss something, please do step in and let me know. I count on you to follow the script.
Yes, I'm following.
Perfect. So now let's close the Personas UI, the flavor manager. Click on this X. Yes, perfect. So we have not seen the changes because the applet is already loaded. We need to reload. Click on back button. And yeah, well, it is also, it's fine, no worries. So not the problem. And reload the page. Simply reload the page. And click on reload. Yeah, sorry, I was not precise enough. I thought the shell back button, not the browser back button, but no worries. We can take it from here. So transaction T code IW29. Mm-hmm. So we should still see the original screen, not our flavor. Type in notification type S3, sorry, S star. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we need to make this permanent. So this is a good example of possible automation. Every time we start transaction IW29 for our scenario, we type in S star into the input field. Can you delete it? Let's automate it. Simply delete it. And so click on P button, Personas, to bring up Personas, flavor facility, and select our flavor. So you see that the original screen is automatically selected, but our goal is to make our customization default. So which means that every time you run the transaction IW29, our customization is applied automatically. So open the flavor manager once again. Mm-hmm. So on the tile itself, you see this little check mark icon. If you hover the tile on top corner, there's a check mark icon, the other side. Yeah, click on it, and that makes the flavor default. Every time we run transaction IW29, this flavor is applied. Good. So, and click on edit button, this pencil, or you can right mouse click and start editor on the flavor. Yeah, that is also fine. And let's pre-fill the value S star. So notification type S star. Double click to bring up the text editor and type in S star. Yeah, and done. Brilliant. And save the changes. That value will be always entered. That is an intermediate step toward automation. So save your changes and exit the flavor editor by pressing the exit button. So we have typed in the notification type. We have made the flavor default, and now you click execute once again. And now we see that the applet is indeed loaded, and the IW29 original table is replaced by this nice looking Fiori responsive table. Try resizing the screen just to make sure that it resizes according to the available screen dimension. Just to minimize the browser, make it smaller to look like a mobile screen, for example. Yeah. Or make it even narrower than that. So the table should adapt.
Okay.
So that is the feature of this Fiori table.
How to?
Yeah.
How to do
Just grab the resize handle and make it narrower so it looks like a narrow mobile screen.
Okay.
In
like
the just the browser shell, not anything
Okay.
on the SAP screen.
Got it.
Yes, like that.
Okay, so you see that the content is updating, and we can compare it with the original look because Screen Personas modifications do not modify the original transaction. You can always revert back to original look and feel. So thank you. Yeah, we just demonstrated that the applet is responsive. And click on the Personas P button once again. And click on the original screen tile. That should bring back the old table that was there before our personalization. That is how it looked. And now if we can switch back to our flavor, dynamically new look and feel is applied. Okay, so we have pre-created script that is executed every time you click on the notification. And if you click on any arbitrary notification, you will be taken to the transaction IW53. Very well, so this is the screen that we will start with. And the goal is to simplify the screen and apply some Fiori 3 design guidelines. And again, the first thing we do, we create new Personas flavor by bringing up the Personas flavor manager and creating new customization the same way how we did before.
Should I create a new one?
Yes, we create new one.
And since we're starting a new exercise, if someone else wants to volunteer to share their screen, we can switch. Otherwise, Amandeep, you're doing a great job, and we're happy to keep you as the screen share. I think it's working well, so we can step through one piece at a time. All right, seems like we're sticking with Amandeep.
Yep, Amandeep, just type in any arbitrary name for your flavor, like TechEd exercise. I think there was something mentioned in the workbook, but the name could be whatever you prefer. And also a description, and click on create. And we start simple. Again, we do not need OK code field. We do not need the menu bar. We can select multiple controls by clicking the control key, click on the menu bar, then hold down the control key and click on transaction code field to hide two controls simultaneously. Perfect. Yes, so that's gone. Next step, just to simplify our customization of complex screen, and this is a rather complex screen. Let's enable helper lines. Can you click on Design tab, please, for me?
Which one?
Design tab from Personas UI. And you see this helper lines option on the very left corner. Helper lines. Yep. Click on that. Just click on the button itself. Yeah. Pink is fine. It looks like a laser. When we started implementing this feature, we call it laser lines. And also click on snap mode. That should help positioning controls much easier. Very well. So our focus right now is on the tab of IW53 screen itself, and you see there's many tabs: notification, additional data, system availability, etc. At the end, we will need only 3 of them. So you select additional data 1 and system availability tabs, and the same, just hold down the control key to select 2 of them, and right-click and choose hide. So that hides the 2 tabs from the runtime. And for the rest of the 3 remaining tabs, we would like to rename it. Just okay. And to rename it, let's start with the notification tab. Click on notification. I think you would need double click on notification, and rename it what the script says, details. So we call it details instead of notification.
Quick question.
Just details without notification. Yeah, there was a question.
Yes, those tabs that we've hidden, if there is a required field in there, will it still work?
Good question. So yes, absolutely correct. So you cannot switch tabs if there is a required field missing from the currently active tab. The way how it works, usually you can create a script that ensures that all the required information is set. And we also provide so-called a lifecycle event that is called when there's tab merge failure. We call it on tab merger, where you can programmatically handle the situation where tab switching fails. This is important discussion. Many customers are facing the problem, but there are also solutions to that. And if you're interested, we can leave this at the end of the presentation. We could talk in detail if we have time and if you're interested.
Thank you.
Colleagues, can you write down the question? So if we have time for QA session, we can discuss this in detail. Okay, thank you for the question, and click on done to rename it. And so then we need to rename the malfunction, comma breakdown, and to rename, just double click. And notice that if you double click on the tab that is not active, first double clicking switches to the tab, and then you need to second double click to bring up the text editor, and simply delete the breakdown. We leave it only malfunction for simplification purposes. Very well. And we do the same for location data, and we simplify just location. And we click on done, and we start by simplifying the details tab so we can navigate back to details tab. Good. Very well, but before we jump into the content of the details tab, we need to provide a little bit of simplification to the header area. We see the notification ID, the notification title, and status. Let's have a look what the exercise calls for. So we need to select on the very top, you see the notification label, notification input, and also this oil change notification tab. So we use the control key to select notification label, the notification ID, and the description, 3 controls. The S3 is not required. So label, now the input field, we skip S3, and then oil change request, we select 3. And move it to the aside for now, just to empty space on the right side. Very well. And with this, we can hide the rest of the controls by selecting container. Click on the blue container. Sorry, not the blue, but the green. Yeah. Yeah, click on it and press the delete key. So delete is also a shortcut for hide. Or click on undo. So just a quick tip, if you create this customization, minimum number of changes, that is the golden key. So if you can hide the whole container instead of individual controls, please do so, because each change is applied on runtime. The less changes you have, the more efficient the flavor will be. So we deleted hidden control by accident. It's always a good idea to undo the changes, because that will not write change in change list, and we select the container once again. And we click on hide. From the Home tab or from the right click, that hides the container. So Christina, should we go right now with the header customization, or we should continue with the content of the details tab?
It says that the tab strip is handled now.
Okay.
I mean, the script says.
Details tab is fine.
Okay. Now let's focus on details tab, and we have a lot of controls on the screen, and we would need to temporarily park it as a side. And just to simplify that, we have created a feature called parking lot that is already available under the design tab. Click on this parking lot control that you see from design tab on top. That should provide a temporary space where to park controls while we are moving things around. Click on it. Yeah. Very well. Now we can start moving controls aside. So we start with sold to party, label, and the field. So control click, and also the name ID and the name Eastside Bikes, the 3 controls, and simply drag it to the parking lot. That should temporarily park the controls while we are moving things around. What else do we need? We need street and house number, label, and the field. Yeah, and you can unclick the control that is not required. So you see there are 3 controls selected, but we only need 2 of them. So while holding down the control key, unclick the input on the top. So we just need street, house number, and the input.
Sorry, can you come again?
So we need 2 controls, a street, house, label, and the input next to it. So that you have selected 3 controls right now. To unselect the control, yeah, perfect. And move it to a side.
In the parking lot?
Yes, that is our temporary space, because the goal is to hide controls that are not required, and then we can move those back once we have clean real estate. So what else do we need from the script? We need location, label, zip code, city, country, and state. Basically, that's all controls in the line. So hold down the control key and select location, zip code, city, US, and also the state, all controls in the row, and put it aside. Brilliant. So what else then? We can move down. We need reference object group. We need to be a bit scroll down. Reference object, and from reference object we need functional location, label, and ID, and also description. This comp1 gearbox. Move it down below in the parking lot, and you can move parking lot around where you like. You can make it larger, you can make it go away. I think it makes sense at this point to make it a bit larger so we can park more controls.
Okay.
Very well. Let's go. Yeah. Good. So also we need equipment, label, number, and description. So equipment, that's label, ID, and description, gearbox in this case, and we park it aside. Now, what else we need? We need a group box from subject, and from subject we need this very long text box. Yeah, that one, and put it aside to the parking lot as well.
Just a second, let me make it a little bigger.
You should be able to simply drag and drop control. Yeah, good.
Will it overlap?
Yeah, you can leave it.
we can leave it. That's the purpose of parking lot. That's I think at this point, that's all we need, and we can close the parking lot so we have more space to focus on. Good. Now we can start hiding content that is not needed. So you have already container controls selected. It's best to create minimum number of changes. So in this case, we have the whole container selected with the content that is no longer needed. So we can simply click on the hide button from the home tab, and that will make the content go away. Click on hide.
Just very quickly, one field was missing. I mean, it's not critical. It was the priority, I believe, that we missed. But it's all right.
Yes, Tamas, well spotted. Click on undo. Yeah, we need to put a new control. And let's scroll down and find where this priority, and priority, by the way, is really important field. Yes, so let's get back to parking lot. It's under design tab. And click on here are our controls, and we move priority as well as the drop down to the parking lot. And once again, Tamas, thank you very much. Christina, did I miss anything else?
No.
Perfect. Good.
Just a second. Where is the parking?
What is missing?
No, it didn't get moved. So I can move anywhere in the space?
Yes. And drop it. And it's there. And close parking lot. Good. And we select the same container once again because we want to create all in one shot rather than hiding individual controls. Yep. Click on the empty. Yeah, we are already in Details tab. Select the empty space inside the Details tab. That should bring up the control container we want. And one more. Click on one more because this is scroll container. Click once again. Yeah. So 2 controls. Can you undo the selection? So it's a bit tricky. This particular screen is constructed in a way that there are many containers each another one. So we would like to find the right one. We can do it other way around. Select the group box. Yeah, scroll container, and
this
click
one is
on
correct.
No, this probably is not okay. Yeah, click on this customer address tab. Yep. Content. Perfect. That's what we need. Now click on hide from the home tab. Yeah, sometimes it's really tricky to get used to those containers, and this is specific for each transaction that you are personalizing. These layouting options are sometimes a bit confusing when you consider personas customizations. Okay, so we have a blank canvas to work with. I think next step would be to resize the tab strip itself, right, Christina? Am I thinking in the right direction?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. So then select the tab strip control. Yep, click on it and click on Escape key. That's an individual tab. You can always click on Escape key to select the parent control. And we need to apply some dimensions. So you see on the Personas editor ribbon, there are the top position, width, height. So let me try to find the numbers for you. So what is the recommended settings? Where can I find it?
It's on page 11.
Page 11, that helps, Tamas. Thank you very much. So position from top is 45 DIMPRO units. So you see that this, yes, that is 45. Then down is 0, we leave it as it is. Width is 1000 and height is 120. And enter. Good.
Oh.
Did it? Can you select the tab once again? Escape. So 45, 1000 looks good. It's always a good idea to save your changes. I think at this point we can click on save button in case there's a network issue or some other reason why we can no longer continue. It's always save your intermediate steps.
I saved.
Okay, is it start?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Okay, so it's stuck. Can you reload the URL? Simply reload the browser URL. We should have we will hopefully, if everything goes well, we will be able to see one of the Personas features, which is called draft save.
Okay.
Yeah, and this is the reason why we, reload. And navigate to transaction IW53 this time. Yeah. Click on Personas P button to bring up. Very well, and select the flavor we want and click on the edit button. And we should see, here we go. Click on this message. You see the red dot on top. Click on, click on it and load draft. That should bring up the state. Let's see how far are we.
No.
Okay, not really far, unfortunately.
Yes.
Can you click on save? Okay, unfortunately, we have to do it once again. Well, let's do it. Close the parking lot for now. So from the header area, select notification label, ID, and description. So label, ID, and description, we skip S3 and put it aside as a first step. We select the container and click on delete key. That is a shortcut for hiding controls. Next, double click on notification tab to rename it to details. Double click on malfunction breakdown, rename it to malfunction. Yep, and location simply to location. And let's get back
now. I just did a double click and it worked. The description changed.
Very well. Click on details. Unfortunately, the controls are still there. Click on save and bring up the parking lot. Let's do it fastly. Yeah. So the party label ID name, we move it aside. Street, house number, label, and field. It's a good idea to put it in, from top to bottom. Yeah. Now with location, zip code, city, country, state, basically all fields, put it down. So we scroll down to subject field.
These one too, I believe, right?
Yes, we need, absolutely correct. Yep, put it aside, functional location. Now we can move the text box. And we also need not to forget priority from the execution. We'll select the label and the drop combo box. Yeah, like that. So we can close the parking lot.
And just save now.
Save. And we get the container once again, select the customer address. Yeah. Click once again. So it's still, no, it will not work. This is the wrong container. Yeah, now it's the right one. Click on hide. Good. And let's resize the tab strip. Select the tab strip control. Yeah, always good idea to save. Thank you. And sorry about the hiccup. Escape key. Select escape key. Yep, good. And our dimensions from page 11 were 45, 0, 1120. All set. Good. Okay, next step, if we can start moving controls back, let's start with the header area. We have the notification. So let's grab the notification, just the label, the notification label, move it to the left top. yeah, maybe even closer. And click on Remove Association. Select the label once again. And click on Remove Association from the Personas toolbar on the very next to Bring Forward. You see this Remove Association. You hide placeholder, Bring Forward, Remove Association. That removes association between the label input field. Very well. And we put the notification ID next to the notification label, just roughly following the style guide. Yeah, it should do fine. And we move the description down. Just move it more to the left side so it is in alignment with notification, just briefly. So the design calls to remove borders. We select both input fields by using the control key. We skip the label, just input fields, and select the other one. Right mouse click and choose borders. A border, yep, and we select no border option. We don't want borders, and close the border and save the changes. Okay, I think we can continue with customizing the details tab. It's time to bring up the parking lot with our controls. Okay, so let's have a look at design. Okay, we start with the big text box with the details. We move it, that first control.
This one?
Yes. Put it on top of the details tab. Something like that. Maybe it makes sense to make it a bit smaller. So on top, I see we need equipment. We need equipment ID and description as well as priority. So we look for equipment. So grab the equipment, just a label, and put it on top, just below this change request. So we have the layout. We start with notification, then we have, yep, paste it. Just put it there. And down, put the description, gearbox, or ID. We will need all three fields. So description goes below the equipment label. And ID goes next to the equipment. And we make a equipment label bold. Yeah, click on Home option, and we need to remove association. Can you click on Home button? Select equipment label, and click on Remove Association, and make it bold. Click on B button and choose bold.
The option for bold?
Yes, so on the left side, there's B button, and click on B. And okay, yeah, we can apply some style changes afterwards. That is second priority for us. Let's check the time. Time is good. So next one, we need sold to party. Just bring the sold to party label down the big text box. Do you happen to have two monitors or just one?
Two monitors, yes.
Probably you see the design guideline from the PDF, right? If you scroll to the page 12, you see the UI that we are looking for.
Got it.
Very well. So we move the sold to party ID down, then description next to this ID. It's Eastside Bikes, I think so. Okay, yeah, don't worry, we will style it afterwards, just put it in the right places. Yeah, that's not be pixel perfect, you can always do that later. Now we need street house number. Let's move the label down. Let's start with the label.
Where was the option to remove the associations?
We don't need this remove association because you remove the association by simply dragging just the label, and you can recreate the association now if you like, but just down labels are on top according to our design guideline. So this input field goes below. Good. What else we need? We need location. So now it's time to scroll down a little bit because we don't have place. And you can always make the parking lot to fit your needs. So you can resize it or you. Okay, so then we start with the city. Or it doesn't matter. You can pick the order you like. I see we start with the city from design guideline simply. And then comes the country. Country, state, and then the zip code at the end. Perfect. Okay, good. Let's close. Christina, did we miss something or are we done? As far as controls are concerned for details tab.
We need to take priority fields to the hidden.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you, Christina. I need you. Click on priority label and let's put priority on top. Just follow design guideline and put it down. And I think that should be all by now, and we can close the parking lot, right?
Yes.
Let me just save it first.
Yes, exactly. That's what I wanted to say. Saved. Very well. Okay, let's get rid of the borders so we can use Control click to select all the input fields on the screen, starting with the equipment, combo box, not labels, just the inputs itself. Yes, and the big text box and good. And choose border from context menu or border. Yep, that also works fine. No border. Also, design calls for label bolding. We need to set. Yeah, go ahead, Christina.
And we also need to change the background color. So there is no need to have a background color for the input fields.
Okay, that means we need to.
Transparent.
Okay, so we need to select the input fields once again. Thank you, Christina. I missed the important step.
Including the header one?
Yes. Yeah, because by default, they all have background color. We want to make them transparent because we will apply some nice looking styles afterwards. Good. And let's choose fill from the option. Yeah, and no color. No color option. Yeah, and so my daughter is in the background. Good. Now I think we can set the background color, right, Christina?
Yes.
Then let's select the tab strip once again. You can click on details and then escape key. Oh no, or we just do it for scroll container, pardon. Let's select the inner scroll container. Yeah, that one. Scroll container selected and click on fill background option. Yep, and click on mixer. We're providing hex value. And under the hex code, somewhere down the fourth option, where you see this hashtag, remove the zeros and type in ED, once more, and once more ED. Enter. We are set. Yep, good. Right, now let's make labels bold. Add some decoration. So we select the sold to party, street house number, location, and make those appear bold. More or less, okay. We can work on our styles afterwards. Let's save what we have. Now we can move to the next tab. Next tab is Malfunction. Christina, can we move, or did I miss something? The plan is to apply style changes afterwards. Let's start with simplification.
Yes, let's move then.
Then let's move to Malfunction tab. Double click to select it. Yeah, and we also, of course, will need parking lot here. And you can, in your other monitor, bring up the page number 13. That should show you the expected outcome. So what do we need? We need start date. Click on Malfunction Start label and also input. Put it aside to the parking lot. We need start time. Move it down. Then we need end date and also end time. Good. And we need this breakdown checkbox also. Good. So in this screen, if I remember correctly, we don't have the luxury to select the top container. So we need to select the individual group boxes. So let's start by selecting start date, the group box. Yeah, at this point, we can close the parking lot. And we select start date. We already in the Malfunction tab. Click on delete. End date, delete. Breakdown, delete. And that should give us clear canvas to proceed further. Next step, we select the scroll container and apply background color 3 EDs once again. So scroll container selected, we go to Home tab, bring up the background color, go to Mixer, and ED, and we have it. Perfect, brilliant, we can continue. Now let's go to Design tab and bring up the parking lot. And voila. So have a look at the design. We start with start time. Start date. Yep. Double click to rename it from Malfunction Start to Start Date. Move the label down below. Sorry, move the input field down below, not the label. Then on the right side, we want to have a start time option. Done, and of course. And dear colleagues, participants, if you have any questions, comments, you can always unmute yourself. You can ask questions. I assume you're already asking questions in the chat. Let me know if there's something that we need to discuss. End date and end time. We have not. Can you quickly? Yeah, we have the helper line enabled. That's good. No need to do it. And time. And down we have the breakdown checkmark. Next, we select 4 input fields, remove the background color and remove the border. No color and no border as well. And we make labels bold. And I think we agreed that we focus on styling once we have the simplification done. With that said, we save the changes and we move to location. Christina, anything we missed? Or Thomas?
No, I was fine.
Good. Now then we move to location tab. So we start by setting the background color, I assume, or yeah, whatever you prefer. Okay, now bring up the parking lot, and design is on the page 14 of your exercise book.
Okay, functional location, company code.
So what do we need? We need a company code. Yep, even including Waldorf. Yep, move it aside. What else we need? We need maintenance plant. That was on the top, if I remember correctly. Yep, ID and also description. 3 fields from that. So we have a company code already. Then we need location. And room as well, yeah. And scroll down, there should also get the location somewhere.
We got a location.
Oh yeah, so let me double check. So we have the functional location from the previous tab. We have the company code and description. We have maintenance plant, information, location, information, room. Okay, I think we are all set. We can close the parking lot and focus on cleaning up the location tab. Okay, click on delete key. The group control is selected. Click on delete. Is there any other? Can you, yeah, let's double check if there's something else. Yeah, that one as well. No, yeah, this one. Click on delete, escape key. Now press escape key now. And click on delete. Good. Now we have clear canvas. Save. And let's get back to the parking lot, and we continue with proceeding with the design. So we started functional location, that's on top. And yep. The input field is below the label, so labels on top. And we can put the description also to the side. Now, company code, label on top, and then 3 controls below. Very well. Then goes the second paragraph or column. We start with maintenance plant. Now location. Let's check time. Time's good. And room on the bottom. Tamas, in the meanwhile, we will require navigation script for the back button at some point. Maybe paste it in the chat.
Right. I can do that, but that's really easy actually to copy from the document.
Okay,
because it's
even better. Then let's select the input fields and the same exercise. No border color, no background color. That description, no, this I think, yeah, I think we don't have border colors, but not sure. Let's leave it only for inputs. No border, no color. And we make labels bold. Looks good. Save the changes. Now we have some time just to make it more better looking. We go to this details tab. And SAP Screen Personas provides various options of ranging controls. And I think we actually do need border for this large text field. So select the text field it doesn't look good. And click on border style and just add the border, solid border or dotted, whatever you prefer. Good. And we need some, good, default. So there's a, can you make it a bit larger? Okay, I'm not sure why we are not seeing the left. There's a scroll container, text edit. Can you save your changes? Just do me a favor, save changes and click on exit button. I would like to see how it looks in the runtime. You can always go back to runtime mode. This is how it looks. Okay.
Oh.
We have some slight design issues, so we fixed those. Let's switch back to details tab and open the flavor editor once again. Open the parking lot control. And click on this large text box. Just a large text box and move it to this parking lot control text. And click on the area where this text box was before. Is there a container left? No, it's all good. We will deal with the text box once again. So we have the sold to party and the style for details tab was on the page on page number 12. So let's arrange this labels and input fields in one column. So select close the parking lot for now. We'll deal with the text box later. Scroll down, select sold to party, input field, also the street. Yeah, we need to select the whole column of controls and we need to distribute alignment. Yeah, select this ID as well and label and sold to party label as well. And now if you go to Home tab, you should see this arrangement options. Where is this? Align objects, where I'm not seeing. We have the control container selected. While holding down the control key, unselect the container. And now we have a possibility to align. I think we need to distribute vertically. And then, yeah, left, that should do. Okay, we have a bit of alignment. What else we want to achieve? So under the sold to party, you see this each side bikes and the description that should be moved below next to the ID according to design guideline. So I do not see where's our house number. Is it somewhere down below? So that, okay, we don't have set it. So input is filled, but it's empty. Okay, all good. So location, good. Let's put, maybe we can add the country and state a bit closer together to this city name. So there's a big gap in between, but we will not focus on having a pixel perfect solution, just to play around. And let's put the big text field back. Let's scroll on top. And parking lot, yes. Make it a bit smaller here and also narrower. And you can click on Home tab. Yep, we see a problem. We don't have enough space. You can always go to Home tab and use the values. Good. I think it's good enough, and put it there. And let's see. Let's save the changes and let's go back to editor. Sorry, the runtime to see if it looks more or less acceptable. Click on exit. And I should say good enough. We can, if we have time, we can work on details. Christina, do you allow us to continue?
Yes.
Christina is our designer. So being a developer, I'm not always too keen on moving pixels. So let's have a look at the Malfunction tab, see how it looks. Looks good. Yeah, Malfunction. we need to correct this. We will do it, and let's open location. And yeah, let's say a little bit of rearranging is needed here. Well, let's fix the malfunction firstly. So switch to Malfunction tab and go to Flavor Editor and see what is missing from there. Where is our end date? I think the end date is simply not set. And first of all, and can you check if the input is down? I don't see it. I think it's down, but the value is not set. Good. Perfect. And now let's make location tab to look more nicer. So we have two logical layout columns. So we distribute vertical alignment. So you select functional location, also the input below, company code, just so they are aligned to the same line. And click on. You could also do it horizontally if you like.
Okay, I think that should be okay.
Yeah, good enough. Okay. Maybe Waldorf needs to be moved closer. And also resize this. Yeah. Christina, if you have any directions or guidance that we need to follow, then we are happy to do so for you.
Okay.
And so for all participants, as you can see, most of the work is often with getting the look right. So basically it's editing the screen. It's not necessarily complicated, but it can take a lot of time because of the embedded controls and the relationship with between them and so forth. So that takes a lot of time usually.
Okay. Now let's save the change. So what happens next? We have two transactions, list notifications IW29 and display service notifications IW53. And now we need to introduce navigation back to transaction IW29. Can you exit the flavor editor and see what it does right now? Simply click on exit. That brings back the runtime. And simply click on back button. The launchpad back, the shell back button, not the browser, and click once again. So this is the default navigation logic for the given transaction. And we want to override. So we start with IW29 table. We click on the notification. We are taken to IW53. And if we press back, we want to end up in the same place where we were. So to do it,
one thing I wanted to mention, because if people try to do the same thing from IW29, right? If you go into the display and then you go back, it will take you there back to the list as it was before. The problem is that in our case, that navigation doesn't exist anymore for technical reasons. So we called new transaction from IW29. And this is why what Chris is going to talk about is necessary. So to ensure that we are getting back to the list we have started from. Sorry, Chris.
No, this was really good comment. Thank you very much, Tamas. So let's focus on navigation from IW53 back to IW29. So right now we are in IW29 transaction. Let's move to IW53. So in T code, type in /n IW53. Very well. And click on notification option. And so this is our flavor being applied. Click on P button to bring up the Personas UI. And click on Edit pencil icon just to bring up the flavor editor. So the first thing we need to do, we need to override or stop the default back button action. And to do it, we need to create very simple script. So select the back button. It is selectable just like any other control. Right click to bring up the dialog option, context menu, and select events. And we want to have new script that is executed on click. So select on click lifecycle and click on plus button to create new script. And type it just back or navigate back, whatever you prefer, and click on Done. And click on a big X to close the script assignments dialog. Save the flavor editor. And now we need to move to the script itself. Click on Exit. And let's see what it does right now. Can you click on the back button? Yeah, so it shows that this default alert that the script is executed. And if you click OK, and just click on OK, the default logic is followed. And that's what we don't want. So click on notification once again to bring up to the screen where we were. And open Personas flavor. And this time we need scripts. So in order to suppress the default standard button behavior, all we need to do, we need to select the script that is assigned to the button. And at the end, type it return true. Just delete the alert block, which is not obviously needed, and put some space to write more code. But at the end, we will have the statement that says return true. And that tells the scripting engine that the default functionality should not be called. So that suppresses the default action, and semicolon to close the JavaScript. Good. So what else we need to do? If we press the back button, we want to navigate to IW29 transaction. And to do so, we have already created a script for you just to simplify. If you open the workbook, let me find the exact page. And it was on page 15. On page 15, you see the script example. Just copy the script from the page 15 and paste it here. It's already containing return true, but I wanted to emphasize that in this case, we are overriding the default functionality.
I'm not able to copy from the PDF.
Okay, then that means we need to provide you a link. So, Tamesh, could you find the link to this exercise for us, please?
I think this one's short enough. We could probably just put it in the chat. And there's not a lot of heavy formatting. Christina's got it.
I put it.
Very well. Thank you, guys. That's a teamwork. So
it's weird that the copying from the workbook doesn't work though, because I tried and it does work. Maybe it's
probably
depending on,
it depends on the
on
application.
the viewer. Yeah.
Just copy the script from the chat that Christina shared.
I'm not able to copy from the chat because I think
okay.
I don't have option to copy even from the chat window.
Then we will improvise. And we don't have the key. So, okay, let's record what we need. Click on Start Recording button. We are going to improvise.
Sorry, you can highlight them.
Say again?
I said you can highlight from the chat, copy it, paste it. You just need to do a little bit of reformatting. Don't right click because you're not going to see the copy. Just highlight it and click Control Copy.
Yeah, it does work from the chat window. I tried.
Yeah, this is not going to work.
Yeah, but we're all categorized as hosts.
Yes,
which is a difference.
So
do we have that here? Can you see my screen?
Yes, I think we don't have the second script, right, Tamas? We just have the first one, but
yeah,
no need to worry. So what we do, we go back to scripting editor and we recode what exactly we want to achieve. So what we want to achieve, we want to switch back to transaction IW29 by typing into the IW9 in the OK code field and pressing the Enter key. That's all we need to do. So click on Start Recording.
There's
button.
No OK code field anymore.
Yeah.
Of course, that is not a problem. So click on this big P button, Personas button, to bring up. Click on Start Recording first, and click on Personas P button. Click on Original Screen because we need OK code field, as my colleagues correctly pointed out. And we will clean up the code and type in /n IW29 in the code field, and press Enter. Oh, very well. So we can already clean up and also clean the first line that is not needed. Now we also want to skip this screen. We already have the notification type entered as a star and click on execute. So put the cursor in line number 6 because it will continue recording. Put the cursor in line number 6 and click on execute.
That is not active.
Not
Stop
on
recording?
no. Execute of the transaction itself. So on the very top left corner, you have this execute button. Others.
Oh,
Yes,
this button,
that
sorry.
one. So press and click on stop recording. So we don't want these web table execute web requests. So delete line number 9, line number 9. That needs to be gone. And do we still have our return true statement? Yeah, that's all we need. We can clean up this code and click on stop recording. Oh, it's already stopped. Good. And save. Okay, click on X to close the scripting editor. And select one of the notifications from the table. Just click on it. And we have missed one important step. We need to set the flavor as default. So, sorry, my daughter wanted to. Okay, good. Yeah, no notification probably select. Can you close the Personas flavor editor? So it's default. And click on back. Okay, we are in IW 29 and we are here. Click on once again back. Just to double check that navigation works nicely. Pump is noisy. Wow, fun is very noisy. Yeah, we can switch tabs, locations. Good. And that finishes exercise number 2. What we want to do next, of course, we would like to achieve some kind of responsiveness if we plan to use this Fiori application through mobile phone. We don't have to do anything about IW29 because we're already using the SAP UI5 applet, which is itself responsive control, but we would like to provide new look and feel for this IW53 flavor that would work nicely on our phone. Amadip, do you have phone with you, smartphone?
I do.
Is it an iPhone or Samsung or?
iPhone.
Very well. So let's create a flavor for an iPhone. So
Chris, before we continue, I'm sorry for the interruption. I pasted or I uploaded the script too for the other participants into the GitHub real quick, so you can copy from there. You don't need to go through the recording if you don't want to.
Okay, thank you, Tamas. So in order to create a version for iPhone, we're going to use feature called adaptive flavors. So this is our master flavor that we start work with, and we would like to create a new version for iPhone. And the Screen Personas engine will pick the right flavor that best matches the available screen real estate. So to create an adaptive flavor, let's start by setting the default width on which this main flavor should be activated. Let's open the flavor editor as a first step. I think that's what we need now. Okay, I think we go to Design tab as the next step. And Christina, do you remember the minimum width for the parent flavor? Click on Design tab. I'm looking through this document very quickly.
It's 800, I believe.
Okay, thank you, Tamas. And you see this input field for this minimum width option? Yeah, type it 800 as Tamas said. Enter. Perfect. That is our minimum width for original screen. Save the change and exit the flavor editor. And let's open P button once again, and let's create one adaptive flavor. To do it, so you see the couple of options for your tile: copy, flavor, and the second option is adaptive flavor stack. Click on the second option, second icon from the flavor tile itself, and yeah, that is copy, flavor, and then second, this one, show adaptive flavors. Click on it, and we want to add new mobile flavor for it, of course. Yeah, click on it, and let's say iPhone or phone, or put the meaningful name for your. Yeah, and phone. And obviously it's not going to be BlackBerry, just delete it, clear it. And it's, we don't have the latest and greatest iPhones, unfortunately, but we are aware of that and we are working on that. So that should do, and click on create. Okay, so you see this line that divides the screen, and our next task is to fit content to the left side of the line. Christine, I think at this point I might need your help with the values, or should I think I have the values. Let's start by resizing the tab strip. Select the whole tab strip and escape key. I think I've just found the values on my iPad. It's now from top 55. And by the way, I'm looking at the page 17. With this, awesome, very, very well.
I think with the width, the 500 works better. I mean, 450 is okay, but I believe 500 is better. But we can stick with the 450.
Okay, then let's type 500. Yeah, you need to select the whole tab strip. Thanks, Tamas. And what we see already that our priority dropdown doesn't fit on our mobile screen. So let's move the priority label and the combo box below the equipment in the space. That should do. And we don't need to worry about the tab strip itself. We just need to ensure that the content is on the left side. Yeah, obviously we start by narrowing down the big text box with the description. Just narrow down so it fits the space very well. What else is in there? Yeah, we need a bit of adjustments. And we save the change.
Same changes for the malfunction location?
Yes, we do the same thing for the other two tabs as well. That looks more or less nice, and then you can scroll it a bit. Yeah, this one needs more love. I think you need to scroll the user area down to see the whole content.
A lot of times customers will have their desktop flavor and then make one for a phone and one for a tablet. Depends on the use case. If it's some big financial analysis flavor, you wouldn't bother making a mobile version of it. If it's some big planning flavor, maybe you'll have a desktop version for a 24-inch monitor and then one for a 14-inch laptop screen. Something in a warehouse, maybe you do have a phone and a desktop, or a phone tablet, or standard phone and plus size phone. But once you make the regular flavor, as you see, it's very simple to have the adaptive version and then just move the controls to fit within the size of the phone.
Okay, thanks, Peter. What we need to do next, we need to assign a new background color, but this time not for the tab strip, but for the whole user area. And the design guideline call for the same color that we see on the very top of the shell bar. So we start by selecting the GUI user. Just click on the empty space between the tab and that one. That should select the GUI user area, the main container, and click on Fill Background option. And this time we need mixer, and click on this eyedropper icon to pick. We are going to pick screen. See this little eyedropper icon that says click here to pick color from screen. Click on it and wait a second and pick the color from the title bar, the deep blue color. Or is Now we need to adjust the font colors for the tabs. Click on Malfunction and Location tabs, and click on Font Color, and it's white. We need to set it white. Good. Scroll to this Detail tab. There should be a little scroll button, and we do the same here as well. And now let's scroll the user area so we can see the header. I assume we also need to set white font color for the other labels. So we select all the controls that are in there and we assign new white font color. Okay. So selected. Can you click on this gray area? Can you undo, please? Just click on undo. It's not going to be easy. Let's start. Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, we need to redo for details. So let's start by selecting labels first. There was a and I think there's okay. Now let's do the same for controls. There is one description. Sorry, the compo box priority, the for low. Yep. Let's make it white otherwise. And do the same for notification ID and equipment. And let's call it that our mobile flavor is now ready. Save and let's have a look at it. Click on exit. Okay, very well. Let's double check if it still switches tabs. So now let's bring up the Personas P bar. And let's test if browser sets correct flavor. And click on this adaptive flavor stack icon once again. And select, yes. And please select this other option, the top flavor. Yeah, the parent flavor, the region that we started work with. Yeah, click on it. No, just click on this IW53 flavor that says 800 next to it.
Okay.
Yes, click on it. That should bring up and close the Personas P bar.
Close.
Yes, and now resize the browser window. Just make it shrink, just to see if a right flavor is automatically picked up. And as you can see, if you extend it, the other flavor will be picked up. So there's a logic that checks the available screen real estate and picks the best flavor based on available dimensions. So next, how would you test this flavor on your mobile device? Click on this P button once again. And now there is a fourth option that looks like a chain, a fragment of chain. Yeah, click on it. So that's direct access URL. And there's generate QR code. So if you're, for example, using iPhone, open your camera application, point to the QR code, and a message appears that says open URL in the browser or Safari. Open the URL in the browser and type in your SAP backend systems credentials that were assigned at the beginning. That's how you can test the flavor in your device.
Just the user ID, user ID
Yes.
password.
Yes, so we are not going to do it right now, but let's start from the beginning and analyze what we have done. Can you reload the whole URL? To start from the beginning. I just reload the browser URL to start a fresh session.
Oh, just refresh this one?
Yes. So usually, if you have created such application that links together two transactions, the most typical approach would be to create a launchpad tile, and then you can access that launchpad tile seamlessly, just like any other Fiori application from your mobile device, tablet, or desktop application. But since we don't have time, we will not going through the launchpad setup. We just review what we have done. So we navigate to transaction IW29. So this is this should open this familiar selection notification screen. And by the way, for those who follow the fourth exercise explains what could be done with this particular filter page, because obviously this is something that doesn't look according to our design guidelines. It's complex. It's not needed since we only type in notification type and skip it. So if you're interested in how to get rid of this screen, follow the fourth exercise. So with us, we just simply click on execute. That brings up this responsive Fiori table that lists notifications, and it implements sorting capabilities. You can click on the sorter icons or filtering icons, so we can filter out different kinds of notifications based, for example, on priority, or we can sort by equipment, or we can sort by date. So this is a custom functionality that is built using the proper IDE. I think it was done on VS Code, then deployed to the SAP backend system and consumed as a SAP 5 applet in SlipStream engine. This requires coding work, but it is possible with the latest SAP Screen Personas SP12. So now if we click on this one of the notifications, we have object details page. We used IW53 as a default functionality for our object details page, and we customized according to Fiori 3 guidelines. We have not done our job on having a pixel perfect solution, but if we spend more time, we could provide nice looking Fiori 3 compliant screen. So we can switch between tabs. We've done tab merging. We have hidden controls that are not required. And we introduced navigation between two transactions, because if we now click on back button, we will be taken to the same IW29 screen that we left. Just click on back button. And we can see that the notification is already pre-selected, and we can select different one. So that's the navigation between two. Here, click on that one. And now if we, there's no data probably for some reason. So if we now resize the screen to emulate real estate available on a mobile phone, we need probably more. SAP Screen Personas picks our iPhone flavor or mobile version of our W53. So that's how it goes together. That completes the third exercise, and as I said, the fourth exercise is for those who feel already very familiar with the tool. We're not going to cover that one, and I think at this point it is time to say big thank you to Amadip. Thank you for being brave. Thank you for sharing your screen, for doing a great job on the exercise. I really appreciate your help. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
So my daughter is offering me Mandarin. So okay, so next it's time for a QA session. If you have any questions to discuss, we still have 9 minutes.
Before we wrap and move into the questions, we all want to thank you for spending your time with us today, and hopefully getting some hands-on experience with Screen Personas, As we mentioned, if you followed along, you'll be able to do these things within that time period. Within the 2 hours, we'll leave the systems open so you can do that. The slide here shows some additional information. We've got our public SAP Screen Personas page. We do have some open SAP courses. What you saw today is on Service Pack 12. The open SAP courses are an earlier version, so whatever you see in the guides here, supersede that. We also have a YouTube channel, which is not listed here, where we have some productivity power play videos, tutorials that show you. There's one recently added on the UI5 applet. So if you just go to YouTube and search for SAP UX Engineering, you'll see that, or perhaps Conrad can drop the link into the chat for that. So with that, let's jump into the Q&A.
Feel free to unmute yourself and we can have open discussion if you have any questions.
Hi, this is Ramesh here.
Hi, Ramesh.
I just want to know, how do we navigate to the split engine? Right now, we got the link and we logged in, right? So in a normal scenario, like we have the ECC or S4HANA system. So how do we log into split engine?
So for scripting engine, first of all, you need to have SAP Screen Personas platform add-on installation ready. So scripting engine is a component that comes together with SAP Screen Personas. So the first step is to have Personas installed. And as soon as the Personas is installed, probably you would follow the documentation, and the documentation. And basically, Tamas, could you paste the documentation link? We have after installation steps, and one of the steps, optional step, if you would like to use Slipstream Engine, is to enable Slipstream Engine ICF node, which is SAP BCCM. And as soon as you have the ICF node enabled and roles assigned, you can continue using Slipstream Engine on your ECC or newer S4HANA system.
Okay, so I asked this question again, like, so for Personas, is there any separate license, or is it comes under like NetWeaver? It comes, that also comes with NetWeaver. Yeah,
so SAP Screen Personas comes a part of your NetWeaver license, and you don't have to pay extra to have Screen Personas functionality. Okay. So if you should be good to go with your ECC system.
Okay. Thank you very much.
I do recommend considering installing SP12 version of SAP Screen Personas 3.0, which is the latest.
Latest one, okay.
Any other questions, comments?
Thank you.
And as Peter already mentioned, all your users will be active for some time, so you can come back and follow the exercise at your own pace.
Thank you, Artemis. And don't forget the Issues tab. If you struggle with the scenario, you can leave a comment in the Issues tab, and I will have a look. Anyone struggling with the exercises, any issues with the scenario?
Yeah, so no issues with the exercises. Just one thing I noticed when we're minimizing the field length is that if your description is longer than what you actually allocated, the text actually gets overrides the next field. So I think when you resize, we need to look at, trying to make sure that you somehow keep enough space so that you fit the whole text, just in case they fill the whole field.
Yeah, that is a good point, and that was one of the main reasons why we introduced the parking lot, because before SP 11, when we released parking lot, you would need to find empty space on the screen just to park your control temporarily. And this scenario also is one good reason why you need to consider using parking lot, I think. So you have enough space to park your controls temporarily. Thank you for the comment. And anything else?
Where can we find the adaptive controls once we've set them on the screen to go back and adjust that? I can't seem to find where
Eric,
that is.
Can you consider sharing your screen? Maybe we can point you.
Sure, yeah.
You should be able to do that. I think it is possible for everyone to share the screen. If not, Jennifer can help.
Sure. Okay, can you see?
Yes, so let's close the viewports. So you're going into advanced option. Yeah, we did not cover viewports for this exercise. So let's exit and let's see what is the setup. Exit the flavor editor. And let's have a look at the adaptive stack. Click on the B button to bring up personas. Oh, you will restart, fine. So let's go to IW53. IW53. And click on notification. So to jump to the next screen. And you see this adaptive flavor stack option. You see you have a bunch of options for the flavor tile. The copy flavor, the second one is adaptive flavor. Click on it. And you have the original screen. That's that one. And click on TechEd. Yeah, click on it. And that's in infinite size. So if you edit this one, the first task you would need to do is to set the minimum width for this flavor. And as Tamer said, it's 800.
So where?
So this is the parent flavor. And if you click on the adaptive stack.
Okay, you can edit this one. So if you click on the pencil, click on the pencil. Yes, go to the design tab. And then in that box, enter 800, right under tables.
Here, just
That's
right here.
Yes.
Okay.
So this is one of, with the adaptive flavors, this is probably the most common error what people make, that the parent flavor has no width. And for the logic, it needs to know which flavor is for what width. And if this is missing, then the logic breaks. So you need to have this for the parent as well as for the child flavors.
Okay.
And it should
work. Thank you.
So the algorithm is as follows: that the client reads the available screen width and picks the best matching flavor based on the numbers you enter. It's 8. So if you have a screen with available 801 units, then this flavor will be picked. If not, then the previous one.
Okay, great. All right, thank you. Yeah, it was too obvious. Thanks.
Okay, any other questions, comments, difficulties? If not, then I say thank you very much for joining the session. I hope you learned something interesting and looking forward working with you.
Yeah, thanks so much, everybody. That was a really great presentation. Thank you to our speakers for a really informative presentation. Thank you to everybody for participating, asking questions, following along. I will be stopping the recording now.